to start things off, you went from not winning any races your rookie season in Pro Spec to winning 5 times this year and the championship. Now, last time you told me that 2023 was going to be more of like a learning year for everyone. So, by comparison, what was your mindset going into 2024?
To win races, like that was definitely the mindset. Like we towards the end of the year, we started podiuming in 23 and then got rookie of the year. And like we were just building up momentum and just not trying to wreck the truck. And like beginning of the season, I came in, I tested twice before the season, and I'm like, we were ready coming into the first race. So run with those guys and like won the first race of the year. So like we were ready to go.
So, how much of a confidence booster was it to win the season opener?
Oh, that was huge. I got hundreds and hundreds of laps on Lena. It's the closest track to us, and to go test there, like we tested there multiple times. So going there and winning, like it's not my favorite track, small, but we just repetitive times and lap times, and we showed up and knew we were ready to go. And like winning the first race, it kind of didn't set in all weekend. We're like, and we went first and second over the weekend, and we're like, okay, like now we know we can run with these guys. We knew we could run with them last year. We just have to execute and be there when we have to be.
And then to go from there to over to Park River, it was kind of an interesting weekend because you ran 3 races because of the Grandin makeup. And of course, you won, I think, 2 or 3, and then
Yep.
you finished second in the other. How did it feel to run so well on
Yeah.
what was such a busy weekend, basically?
Bark River, I actually raced a buggy on Friday at Bark River too. So like it was wild. I knew coming into the weekend that it was going to be super busy. Like I actually got an extra guy to come with just because I'm like, we have 3 days to turn this truck around, and like if we have any problems, we're gonna be busting our butt. But Bark River is probably my favorite track, and like going in there with winning on Friday, like it just escalated. We had a flat tire on Saturday and still battled back to get second. So I think the truck was battle tested Saturday. Like we had no body left, but um, definitely winning at Bark River was like that weekend was his best case scenario as you could get like throughout that weekend. Like, and then we took the points lead at Bark River. So winning at Bark River and running so well at Bark River, I I podiumed both days at Bark River last year in the truck too, and I've won multiple times in the buggy, and I think I podiumed in the side by side there a few times too. So definitely Bark River has been good to me.
So would you say that when you took the points lead at Park River, or was there like any time before that where you kind of started to realize maybe your chances of winning the championship were a lot better than you might have expected?
We talked about it a little bit. I'm like, I'm just worried about racing race by race. Like, if that happens, it happens. Like, we kind of mentioned it at Lena, we were getting close, but Nick was running good, but he was having issues where like he'd just crash out, but he beat me in qualifying every time. So he was always fast. He was just having super issues with the truck braking or crashing but I wasn't worried about any of that. I just wanted to take each race one by one and worry about winning that race or podiuming that race. I mean, we podiumed every race this year except one day at Antigo. So, and we had a flat tire that day, like just from some contact. And that's the flat tires from contact. I think I had a couple, but it was never a failure. It was always, we got hit.
And I guess you kind of play on that. I remember a couple of times where you and Van den Elzen and Visser and a couple of other guys kind of got into it. Like I think at ERX, you and Van den Elzen got together. Were there like any hard feelings between you and anyone else, or did you sort of like move on from it eventually because you're all friends?
Well, that one I was pretty upset about. Like we talked the next day, we were good. It was escalating a little bit there. Like Nick, like he's super fast, but he was starting having problems at ERX already. Crashed at ERX, like, and then it just escalated from there. Well, again, but then and we had a tough set on the podium, dude. We got over it, and then like him and I got into it a little bit at Barker River too. Like we bumped on that last lap there, and I made an aggressive pass for the win. But you're going for the win that late in the season for points. Like you had to, if the opening was there, you had to go for it.
And there were some other guys as well who gave you some good competition, even though they weren't full timers, like Chris Parrish, Juan Miller. What was it like kind of racing
Yeah.
with those guys?
Parrish was super fast. Like I'm not sure. He came from Formula 4 and stuff like that, and like it would have been interesting to see him the whole season, but um obviously Beat had different like with Wyatt coming in, that was the plan. And like Wyatt was super fast. Like I think he's racing that truck again next year, and like he's gonna be super fast. And like him coming into this sport is putting more eyes on the sport because of his family and like earn hearts and all that against a 12-year-old and getting like kind of it there's a few young kids and it's kind of like, well, you got to race them the same as everyone else, but you got to remember that they're 12. But yeah, like having them come in is only going to make our sponsors get more publicity. Like Bass Pro Shop's going to post things about that and our trucks in the same picture, or Junior Motorsports or whatever. Like it's just going to put more eyes on short course with him coming in. Just like back in the 90s, no one really knew Jimmy Johnson raced short course. That's where he came from. And then when NASCAR and did what he did in NASCAR for all those years. So there's just the crossover of the stepping stones, and hopefully Wyatt goes to that at some point and he can say he raced short course for to start to grow himself into what he's going to do.
And to kind of play on that, like Prospect's been kind of been growing and getting more competitive over these past few seasons from when there were like what 4 trucks in year one. What are your thoughts on how it's grown?
Oh, I mean, we think we had 10 trucks this year. The first race was kind of like, where is everyone? Like there was some trucks that didn't race this year, and there's trucks that sold already. And then like Chad Rayford that won the points last year, like good friends with him, and I was pushing Hemmers to buy that truck all like since snowcross season, and getting that truck back on the track, and she was super fast at Crandon. Like I actually went over and helped them test before Crandon, and like didn't even take my truck. I just went over there and like spotted for her, like, and they're like, "You think she's ready?" Yeah.
All right, there we go. Where were we? I think we were talking about.
We're talking about Wyatt.
Right, just yeah, I think we were talking about yeah how Prospect was kind of growing. Just
Oh yeah, yeah. Prospect was growing. Yeah. So yeah, I think we had 11 trucks at Fall Crandon, and I'm not sure if there's any more being built at the moment. There's a couple for sale still, but I had a lot of questions after Fall Crandon on some. And I know one side-by-side guy bought a Pro Light, but he wasn't sure what he's going to do with it yet. It's a carb Pro Light, and I think he's going to race that next year in Pro Light and see how that goes. But there's still a lot of like the um, Impulse podcast would always say like we were the best race to watch, like every race. Like it was we were put on the show every race, and everyone there was people coming up to me at the parade at Lena, at Crandon, like you guys are putting on a great show, all this stuff, and like that's really cool to know. Like I mean that we're putting on just as good a show as Pro 2, Pro 4, like everything else, and like we're not the level they are.
now obviously like Pro 2 and Pro 4 are like the big fish in the series, but do you feel like Pro Spec being more of a driver series is going to get even more popular by comparison?
Oh, hopefully. I mean, hopefully. I mean, uh, Pro Spec, I think, like the biggest problem is there's all these pro lights that guys are seeing for sale for so cheap. And, but you have to explain to them, like, how much time's on all that stuff? Like, is it all new? Like, then you see a Pro Spec that's for sale. I know there's two of them for sale, and like they're priced way higher than a Pro Light, but those engines have zero time on them. Like they're brand new. Like they are both brand new, gone through trucks. Like, and I'm on my second season on an engine, and I haven't done anything with it. Like, I mean, maintenance. That's all we've done. So So it's been proven that you could take a stock engine and race, and obviously bounce them off the rev limiter, and everyone knows that. But um, we no failures, and that engine's been great versus some of these higher classes. They're rebuilding engines halfway through the season, and pro lights are buying engines and shipping them off and getting them rebuilt right away. Like it's a big expense. Where this engine, yeah, it's $9,000 with all electronics, but it'll run. And that's wire and harness all the way out to alternator. You hook fuel to it and it'll run. So that, in my opinion, is they're spending more than that to rebuild them. So you just buy a new one and put it in when you think the time is that you blowing up or it's wore out or whatever. But like I'm gonna do some leak down on mine and stuff like that this winter and see where we're at. And then I mean it feels stronger now than it did last like season. I mean probably my driving a little bit, but like it doesn't skip a beat. So
So, so how big of a role have guys like Mike Vannuevo and Matt Gerald had in sort of building and developing the truck throughout the year?
huge. Like Mikey, like I go up there maybe once a week and like go to lunch with him or whatever and just shooting ideas off each other. Like and like we did a couple things this summer throughout the year and like made the truck faster throughout the year. Like there was just some stepping stones of stuff we wanted to do. And um we did it before Bark River. We did a couple changes and before Spring Grandin, and that it was huge. Like we definitely felt the speed come from the stuff we did to the truck.
And how big was it to have a sponsor like Toys for Trucks, especially since they were a full season sponsor this year?
Toys for Trucks have been awesome. Bill and TJ, they actually came to the races this year, like the owner and the um I guess he's the GM or whatever of all the stores. And they both came to a race this year. It was super cool. Like we're kind of local and we see Toys for Trucks. Like they have a couple stores right by us, but like most people don't realize that they have like 30 stores across country. Like they bought a couple four-wheel parts and um, they're kind of the same thing as a four-wheel parts. Like some of their numbers on like sales, I never would have even realized that they sell so much of like Bill Steen and Kurt Hitches and things like that. Like they're a huge supplier for a lot of those products.
All right. Now, last year you told me you sort of expected a huge learning curve going from a side by side to a truck. How big did it actually end up being?
Um, I'm finally to the point where like I feel like I can drive it the same way as like the buggy. It's just jump in and drive, and it's just like you drove it like that. And it was the same thing jumping in the buggy like the first time, like the first 2 years I wrecked a lot of stuff and stuff like that. Like that was the goal with the truck is the parts were way more expensive. You're you need to not wreck things and like so that's why I was like I had to go out and prove myself that I can drive it. Now I can jump in that thing and drive it however I want and like it's super comfortable. So like um that was definitely a learning curve is just like last year I was constantly chasing um like it felt like traction, like just trying not to spin out and traction. And this year, I mean, I could throw the truck wherever I wanted to, and I knew what it was going to do. I think the kind of tires helped a lot on that. Like our setup worked well. Like we built the trucks all at the same time. Mikey has been working with on pro lights that everyone Ken does for years now. Like Chad Rayford's setups were real close last year, so like I knew that he was winning that he's got the same setup I do, and it's just the kind of tires I think made our truck work a lot better than where we were at before.
All right, and kind of end the season. Obviously, you won at Grandin. Now, you said last year it was fun, but it's also extremely stressful because of all the hype. So, how did it feel to sort of finally to win there, especially on Labor Day weekend?
I didn't win the big day. Saturday was still cool. Definitely. I mean, we had to start that race. Like we came into the weekend and it was just we had to start the race. We had to qualify within a couple positions in Nick, and like it was like he qualified first and I got second, so it was like I just had to start and I was won the championship. So it was just okay, let's go race. We don't have to worry about winning the championship, any of that. So it was like the high all weekend was up there. Like it was just like you can't even explain that high. Like it just the weekend was awesome. Like Saturday, like it was a dream come true, and like it was pretty cool. Definitely like winning at Crandon, like I won my first race there in buggy and winning the ring, like that would have been cool to win on Sunday. But winning the championship, we did what we could do. Like we got taken out on Sunday on the first lap, and that was our only DNF of the year, and like that was my choice because we came into the pits and the tire was all wrapped up. I could have went out 2 laps down, but you don't get paid for fourth at in the Red Bull Cup. So
All right, and so kind of go from there. So, what are your plans for next year? Like, are you going to defend your pro spec title, or do you kind of plan on trying out some other classes?
no, that's the plan is we bought a semi a couple weeks ago, so that's gonna help out the program. Like I think I took 5 trailers to Fall Crandon, like just between campers and extra trailers and the UTV and parts and so like everything will be all going one trailer. Like that's gonna be super nice. And just defend the prospect title. We got a few other companies coming on board for next year that we are working out some final details. So like that'll help, like just trying to make the truck better. I mean, we there's still room for improvement on making the setup better and truck better, and there's a few things I want to change, but um, like just do the same thing again. I believe we are gonna like I hopefully as long as things go well, we're gonna go to the Mint in March for that short course race. If the pro spec class is going, there was a group chat going around that most of us wanted to go. So, and it sounds like Beat wants to go. So, as long as we can get the funds for that, we're going to go there. And then I believe Champ's going to post their schedule. I heard November 1st or 3rd, next week or 2 weeks. And they have most of the schedule out, but they haven't, there's still one race up in the air at the end of the season. I'm not sure where that's going to be yet, but we heard it was possibly west. But super pumped to go to Wheatland in May. Like I've been there once with it was the Mid America UTV series, but I just went and helped out my Colin, and like that was the first time ever being there, and that was the time when the pro lights ran there, and my truck wasn't quite done, and I'm like I'm not going down there for that first time driving it kind of thing. But that track looks awesome. Like that big jump in the back and like just the over under. Like there's no track like that around here, and like I'm super pumped to go there. Like that should be really fun.
Now, I think Champ is also adding a race in South Dakota, I believe. So, what are your thoughts on that if it happens?
So that one I'm not sure what's up. Like it's South Dakota or further west. Like I there's it's kind of some there's kind of some rumbling of what's happening there and rumors and stuff like that. But like I mean, South Dakota would be cool. We race snowcross there, and that town, Deadwood, is super cool town. Like it's everything's right there, and like supposedly the track was going to be close to town. But I'm sure I heard that I just rumors there was some issues with permits or something like that. But like I'm not sure where they put the track there. Like it was just it's it's not mountainous, but it's pretty hilly right there. Like there's cliffs and stuff like that. Like it's not, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully we go there. It's a little closer than California, but there's rumors of Arizona or California. I'm not sure yet though. Like we'll see.
All right, to kind of play on the snowcross thing, like how different or even similar is kind of working on a snowcross program compared to a short course?
It's a lot of the same thing, and a lot of the stuff I learned from my program, I've learned from snowcross and stuff, and back and forth. Like you're dealing with the same people. Like Champ runs snowcross also. Like so, all the officiating, most of them, like you're dealing with the same people and stuff like that. But I'm just a wrench for one of the teams, and like last year I worked with Nick Lorenz, and we got second in pro light points, and that was a lot. It was a lot of fun, and like it's a good it's a good filler that I can work for a team like that and then still do my program in the summer. But like so like super pumped for that. Um just it's you get to see the country too. I went to Canada last year, Deadwood. It's super cool. But like yeah, like the same thing is like you prep the sleds at the shop, and then you do the same. You race one day, and then you do the same. Take it all apart and redo it, and put it back together for the next day. It's the same mindset with a snowmobile as you do with the truck. Like it's make sure you get one chance to go on the track, and you got to make sure everything's perfect.
So would you ever see yourself like actually racing in snowcross, or are your hands already full as it is with short?
I did a little bit. I did a little bit, like when I was younger, and like I raced cross country snowmobiles for a little while, and then I did a few regional snowcross races. But I had more fun wrenching on snowmobiles and like that kind of thing, and then actually, I'm too old to race now. Like all those guys are pretty young.
Yeah, I get it. All right, so before we wrap this up, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Um, I'm not sure. No, I'm just super pumped on the championship. I mean, that between Matt and I, that was the goal. Like, that's always the goal, right? Is to win the championship. And like, I think winning that, we just got to keep growing on it and defend it next year. Like, not sure. Um, just keep growing at it. I'm not sure where the future is endless. It's just how far can we go?